Uh, this is an important video for me because I'm going to put out a message that might be a bit controversial. Perhaps some people won't fully understand my intentions and what I'm talking about, but I'm going to put it out anyway because I think it's very important. So, before we start, I want to make some sayings absolutely clear. Number one, I do not place myself in the right wing spectrum. Neither do I put myself in the left wing spectrum. I consider myself to be in the middle because there are some policies in the left that I know that we need and some in the right that I also know that we need. So I don't allow myself to be restricted to preconceived ideas about how a political speech and a political stance should be. And I find it very stupid for people to classify themselves as left wing or right wing and then follow blindly to whatever those policies tell them they should be. That is a wrong stance to have. You should never be in a position of you have to be this way. You should always be in the position that I have the facts, I take a decision that is according to a higher moral stance, that I should have when addressing these types of matters, of subjects or whatever. Okay, meaning forcing yourselves to think before you pledge your allegiance to some kind of cult. Which, for me, to classify yourself that way, it's to be a part of a cult. And I don't like cults, okay? I don't even like organized religion that much, so I also don't like cults. Okay, my only cult is I like redheads and bacon and beer. The rest, I won't pledge allegiance to anything more. Now, let's continue. Second of all, I am a full-blown supporter of European unity. Unity in diversity. I also believe it's extremely important to protect each country, each culture. Sorry, let me rephrase this. I also believe it's very important to protect each countries in Europe, each country in Europe's individual culture, and that expresses itself via their language, via their types, their types of music, of food, even of ethnic existence, so to speak. Meaning, I don't believe very much in blind melting pots of dumb people. Although a reasonable degree of interaction between different cultures is beneficial. I myself am a product of that intermarriage, whatever you want to call it. Okay, of European cultures and people. But that does not mean that I don't think that we need something like the European Union to gather all of those forces, all of those countries in a parliament and talk things through. To have seamless trade, to have seamless movement, to have a sole position before the world. United before the world. A single army. Yes, I told you this one was is going to be a bit controversial. A single army, a single foreign policy, okay, and a single economic foreign policy. This does not mean that countries might not have their own particular agreements and positions and historic ties, because they are important, they make the European Union much stronger. But what I'm trying to say is that before a threat like the United States is to Europe, to me, and to each and every one of you that is sitting at home, perhaps listening to me and watching this video right here in Europe. And when I'm saying Europe, I'm including the United Kingdom too, even if they are not a part of the EU. I'm including the Balkans. Okay? I'm even including bloody Russia. Okay? A different Russia than this piece of shit that we have right now, with that lunatic in power. But that is also a side of our European culture, that little gremlin always gnawing at our eastern borders, that is also a part of our culture. And one way or another, we are going to have to deal with him and smack him into behaving himself and stopping this shit of trying to constantly divide Europe between the Americans and them. That is over. We don't want it. We won't allow it. So, right now, the greatest threats of European independence are three. The first one, internal conflict. Biggest one that exists. In my view, each and every country of the EU must have a constitutional amendment, okay, protecting their presence inside of the EU, saying that that country will never leave the EU. Is it radical? Yes, it is. Is it necessary? Yes, it is. To prevent other shit like the Brexit shit show. From now on, each and every country that enters in the EU will have to have a constitutional amendment preventing them from leaving the EU unless there is an extraordinary situation, meaning to stop the volatility of members of the EU. This is the first thing that we have to do to end this eternal discussion. The second thing that we have to do is to simply establish for the most important decisions, we have to establish a dome, so to speak, a council, let's call it a council, where each and every country has a member with an equal vote. Meaning that when we have to decide a serious thing, like for example, invading, yes, I'm talking about all of this, I'm talking about war, invading, declaring war, okay, imposing a military rule in case of a state of war, how it will be done, who is going to be in charge, and also to elect someone that will act as the military commander of the European army. We need to create a European army. Each country of that European army will contribute to a regional unit. So that way you can have armies that can understand themselves, okay, divided into units. In the Iberian Peninsula, for example, you could have the Portuguese and you could have the Spanish. One unit. One regional unit of a European army. You could have France, Belgium, all of those countries that speak French. Another unit. Then you can have Germany as a unit. You could have the Baltic states as a unit. You could have the Scandinavian countries and Finland in one army too, one regional unit. And this is all for logistical purposes only. But the first thing that we have to do right now is to end this internal discussion, end this endless parade of child play by a couple of countries, like for example this shit with Fico and with Orban. We have to end this. And I'm talking directly because of them. I'm not talking about the people, because I'm certain that most of the Hungarians and I think it's Slovakia or Czechia, Slovakia, I think. Okay, most of them don't want this shit. They don't need to have. I don't think the Hungarian citizens want their country to be fined for being an asshole and supporting Putin. Most of them, I am certain, don't support this shit. They support pissing off the EU. That I'm sure. But they don't support doing what the little madman is supporting. Okay? But the first thing is this. The second biggest threat to Europe is the United States of America. Yes, they are a threat to Europe. They want us divided, they want us arguing amongst themselves, because they know that individual countries in Europe have dominated the world for a long time. And we can do it again. In a different way, but we can do it again. And there are a lot of cultural ties of a lot of nations across the world with cultural and even bloodlines going back to Europe, including the United States. But our rise as an economic power is a threat to them. And this idiot in charge in the United States, that orange creature, he has been doing everything in his power to undermine Europe. He even has a plan that's come out that their external policy predicts that the European Union has to end. So again, the bastard is repeating Putin's little handbook. And you keep telling me that he is not a Russian asset? Sorry. From all the actions that I have seen from the current American administration, I will clearly say that it's my opinion. Remember, this is just opinions, okay? This is just opinions. You don't need to be offended. You don't need to get all hyped up, because this is my personal position. And my personal position is that the United States is a threat for European democracy and European in the European Union, no, Europe, because I'm going to include the UK also and other European countries. They are a threat for our personal independence, for our personal rights, for our way of living, for our way of seeing the world, for our way of acting that is common across the entire Europe. We all want to be independent, do whatever we want to do without having anyone else telling us, ordering us to do whatever they want to do. Okay, we want our healthcare. We want our security in food and in our streets. We want all of that. So, if you tell me that this is not a common trait between people as different as a Portuguese living in Lisbon and a Swede living in Samiland or something like that, okay? If you don't tell me that they don't have this in common, then you are completely completing out of your mind. If you tell me they might have different priorities, okay, perfectly acceptable. But I'm talking about the basic needs that we need to have a functioning life. We all want this. And we also all want the freedom of traveling around Europe without constantly having to pick up a passport and say, there it is, here I am. So we need to step this up. We need to make pressure on our politicians of our countries. We need to repress completely those bastards that want us out of the EU, our countries. We also need to start seriously considering banning and boycotting anything American. I'm sorry, but we will have to do it. So ban their culture, ban their products, simply ban them. Because they are using their culture, they are using their products as a weapon against us. They are using, I will repeat this again, they are using their culture, they are using their products against us. And as long as they continue in this tone, then we need to ban them. Boycott them by indifference. I'm not calling for any kind of violence. No, I would never support such a thing. Okay? Because we are people. We are civilized people. We are not animals like them that put children in cages and that drag people from the street and take them who knows where just because they have a different tone of melanin than they are, or they think they are, which is even more ironic. They don't even know what they are. Okay? But what I'm trying to tell you is a simple thing, a simple act like this one. Don't buy any American products. Unsubscribe to any kind of American media that you can. I realize there are not options for a couple of things, like for example YouTube, but there are plenty of options for other things, other American media like X and like all of that shit. Unsubscribe to them. Okay? Get rid of it. Don't pay them any money. Don't use Amazon, don't use Facebook, don't use any of that. Unsubscribe to them, get rid of them. Because, again, I will repeat this, they are using their media, they are using their culture, they are using their products to undermine our own internal security. We need to step up. We need to be European. You need to be a citizen of your city, a citizen of your country, and a citizen of Europe. And I'm calling out for you inside of the United Kingdom. You also have to start and do it. You have to start to do it also. Because if you follow the lullaby of Mr. Farage, you are going to end up as a client state of the United States. In fact, I have serious doubts if you are not already transforming yourselves into a client state of the United States. If you don't know what a client state is, go and check your history and read it. Read the definition of what a client state is. And then think about if that is what you want. We have to end this. America is not a friend. Given the entire history that we are now reviewing, I even have my serious doubts that they were ever our allies. I'm sincere with you. I have this serious doubt. And if the Americans want to change, well, they have to change for themselves. But to see FIFA presenting a prize to that buffoon, inventing a prize so that he would smile, I have a prize. To see that then to hear what they wrote, what they said, and to read what they wrote about us. We have to kick these people out of Europe. We have to end this once and for all. Europe has to be united in one purpose of defending its democracy and to defending its borders, defending its people, and defending its culture. Kick these people out. No violence. It isn't needed. Indifference and not giving them any money is just what we need. Simply stop buying their products. When you go to on your groceries, instead of buying some American beverage, you buy a European beverage from your country, wherever you come from. Buy it. Buy something from your country or from another European country. When you're feeling peckish, instead of going to an American fast food, you go to a local restaurant or a local supermarket. When you go to the supermarket and you look at the aisles, you don't buy anything from America. When you go to buy a car, buy a European car, buy a Chinese car, buy a Japanese, a Korean car. The only way we can get them is this: indifference and boycott. Look at what they are doing to Canada. Look at what they are doing to Mexico. The Canadians and the Mexicans are decent people that deserve our support because they act as allies. They want to cooperate with us. Look at Canada. It's going to be in the weapon procurement. I think it's already in. It's entering in the European Space Agency. Okay? It's creating economic ties with us. Look at Canada. Canada is a good ally to have. But the United States, no. The United States is a bunch of buffoons. A bunch of selfish little people that want to enslave us. Just like the Russians. So, our third threat is Russia. This Russia cannot continue. Russia needs to be turned into what it is, a European country. And I know I'm going to get a lot of comments in saying that, oh, Russia is more than that, Russia is more Asian, and Russian is more this, and Russia is more this. And I'm going just to say this: Russia is a European country. And you are going to repeat the same thing, and I'm going to say, Russia is a European country. We also have black people here, but we are still a European country, and those black people are still Portuguese and Europeans. We can be the entire night here discussing this, and I know the behavior of the Russians, they behave more like an Asian country than a European country, and this and that, and I will tell you the same thing that I will always tell you: Russia is a European country. And we will not get out of this discussion, because if you continue to say that, then you are going to continue to repeat the same bullshit that lunatic has been spewing all of these years in Russia, trying to recreate a new USSR to divide Europe with the Americans. And he's trying to do that exactly now as we speak with Trump. They are like two old, tired dogs trying once again to bite us. And if you don't see this, if you are blinded by this, and you see only China that wants to make a profit, that wants to have importance in the world stage, then you are a bloody fool. I'm not saying China is a threat, but it's a different kind of threat. Russia and the USA represent an existential threat to Europe, an existential threat to our way of being Europeans. When I think of Europe, I don't just think about Portugal and our artists and our Navy explorers and all of that. I think of Spain, I think of France, I think of Italy, I think of Germany, I think of Scandinavia, I think of the UK, Ireland, I think of the Balkan countries, I even think about the Eastern countries, okay? I even think about Turkey. They are all a part of this identity, all of them. And we have to defend ourselves. So, again, I know this video is going to be, I don't even know if YouTube won't block this video. But I'm going to publish it anyway. Europeans, all of you, United Kingdom, in the EU, outside of the EU, even Russian patriots that are against the war in Ukraine and that are against all of this shit, and that are immigrated somewhere else, and to the Ukrainians also that are fighting they are fighting for all of us in Ukraine. Slava Ukraine. I tell you this: don't let the Americans divide us. Deny them that power. Deny Mr. Trump his power. Let him threat. Let him make his threats. Let him say that he will invade this and invade that. Let him go into a war with Venezuela and kill a lot of Americans and Venezuelans. Let him do all the shit that he wants to do, but let him fall alone. Let him fall alone. The time for the joke is over. He doesn't want to trade with us. He wants to put 200% tariffs on us. Let him. Tell that to your local government. Tell that to your local MP, your local parliament deputy, your representative. Tell that to your party. I don't care if you're right wing or left wing. That doesn't matter. In the end, we all fall together. A shield is only stronger as its weakest link. Do you understand? We all have to stand together. Together we rise. Separated, we all fall. Might take a bit longer, but we fall like pieces of a domino. Like we fell before. When they got us, when we were destroyed because of the adventures of Mr. Hitler. They are going to do it again. And again. Because profit is the name of the game. It's the most disgusting motive, but it's the motive they have. Well, thank you all for listening to this video, and I hope to catch you all in the next one. Thank you.